Hello and welcome to Tea is Good, Books Are Better, the podcast where we drink tea and talk about books. I'm Raven.
And I'm Jessica.
And what are we drinking today, Jess?
I've got my lemon ginger honey tea.
Again.
No, this one's a different one.
Oh, okay.
I have a lot of ginger teas.
Hmm.
I like ginger. It's yummy.
Indeed. I am drinking just a plain old Twinings Earl Grey.
Nice. I think I like herbal teas the best.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I really like them.
They aight.
The eight?
They aight. I need my black tea.
Oh, I have coffees. Oh.
I don't have coffee, so I need black tea to give me life. Alright. Today we're starting with Catelyn, and then we're gonna go on to Davos, and then we'll maybe get to Jaime, depending on how long those guys take. They're pretty long chapters though, so we'll see.
Did you want a last time on?
Yes, please.
Catelyn's last chapter, I believe Robb puts Karstark to death and loses their support.
Was that Catelyn's last chapter?
I think so, unless I didn't update the last.
Okay, because that seems like it was a very long time
Yeah.
ago. But,
It does.
I don't have, like, all my Catelyn notes in front of me, so I don't actually know. That's probably the most important thing anyway,
Okay.
so whatever.
So Davos is visited by Melisandre, who seems to be keeping him alive for a higher purpose. And Alistair Florent is thrown in jail with him for betraying Stannis by sending terms of peace to Tywin Lannister.
What a
I
fool.
think Alistair Florent is related to Stannis' wife.
Yes, as well as the you know who I'm talking about?
No.
The guy who like comes down with him and throws him in jail. He's like the captain of the guard or something.
Oh.
There's what's his name again? Alistair?
Alistair is the guy who was thrown into jail with him.
Right. So then there's also Sir Axel Florent.
Oh.
And I think he might be captain of the guard, but that might be wrong as well. He has some sort of duty.
Okay.
Okay, chapter 35 is Catelyn. Lord Hoster is laid in a wooden boat and pushed out onto the river, so he's finally dead. After chapters and chapters and chapters of this fucking dying.
About time.
About damn time. Getting sick of your ass.
She should have just smothered him and be done with it.
Yeah, pull a Danny. So many lords are there for his, I guess this is like their funeral. Robb's there as well. There is also lame Lothar Frey and Walder Rivers, who had come down from the twins with an answer to Robb's and Edmure's offer. Edmure, when they arrived, was furious and insulted by the fact that Walder Frey sent a cripple and a bastard to treat with them, but Robb greeted the Freys with every courtesy, because that's just who Robb is, and Edmure is a nitpicky bitch. The lords launch Lord Hoster into the river. Edmure's squire lights his arrow, and Edmure shoots at the boat and misses. He blames it on the wind and tries again, and he misses again. And I had a feeling when, like, it was going into detail about lighting the arrow and him, like, pulling the string and stuff, I was like, oh, this motherfucker's gonna miss. He's gonna miss, And I knew it was happening and it was gonna happen, but it was still so cringe to read
I
it.
know. It was great.
God, it was like one after another. He knocks another arrow, and Sir Brynden offers to do it, but Edmure insists he can do it, and he shoots again, and he gets close this time, but still misses. So he misses 3 fucking times trying to light his father on fire.
Yeah.
So he curses and passes the bow to Brynden. At least he finally did that.
Mm-hmm.
And Brynden quickly has the arrow lit and shoots it at the boat, which is far in the distance now. But the arrow hits its mark, and the boat's little sail catches fire. And so Brynden is a badass, and Edmure is a bitch. I just really don't like him.
Yeah.
But to be fair, his father did just die.
True.
We'll get a little more into that later, his reasons for missing so much. They watch the boat until it disappears, and then Edmure bounces immediately. Cat
runs away.
Yeah, he's like, peace. Cat would have liked to embrace him and mourn together, but he is Lord of Riverrun now, and his knights are falling in around him with their condolences. Sir Brynden says it's no disgrace to miss your shot, and Edmure should hear that. Hoster missed his shot when their father passed away. But Cat knows that Hoster only missed his first shot that time. She thinks that Edmure is not as strong as he seems. He took the news of their father's death hard. Last night he wept and spoke of his many regrets. He asked Cat if Hoster spoke of him before he died. His last word was Tansy, but Cat couldn't bring herself to tell Edmure that, so she lied and told him Hoster whispered his name.
Aww.
Yeah, so dang, this Tansy shit.
What is it? Will we ever find out?
Right? I want to fucking know if we're right with our abortion juice theory. I need to know. God. Really threw me for a loop when we found that lady named Tansy.
That made it so much more confusing.
Yeah. Why are you doing this to me, George? I thought I had it. I think it also implies that Edmure is hungover from trying to drown his sorrows the night before, which is that's likely why he missed the boat so many times. So he's not just a terrible archer.
He says hungover. The bright light was burning his eyes and they don't have sunglasses.
I'm hungover and the sun was in my eyes and the wind and
I'm just done.
My fingers are cold.
My dad is dead. I'm done.
The Blackfish and Cat go to see Robb. Jane the Queen says that Lord Hoster looked as noble as a king, and she wishes she was given a chance to know him. Robb also wishes that he knew him better. Cat says he would have wished that too. So, how long has Lord Hoster been in this state? Do you know?
No. Maybe she never got to see him much after she was shipped off to Winterfell. Pretty sure she was pretty young when she was.
Yeah. But anyway. She thinks there are too many leagues between Riverrun and Winterfell, and apparently too many between Riverrun and the Eyrie, since Lysa made no reply to her letter. But honestly, if it's the abortion juice thing, I'm kind of on Lysa's side now. Like, that's so fucked.
That is fucked.
What would the ramifications be for the Tullys if Lysa did have that baby?
I don't think she'd be able to get married.
Yeah.
And she'd be an embarrassment. Everyone would mock the Tullys or say terrible things about Lysa if she didn't get married.
True. Probably, like, not quite on the same level as the Lannister situation, but
not
sort of
as
the same
terrible
idea.
as incest,
Yeah. Just like families talking and then no one wants to get involved. And then all your, like, alliances weaken. So that makes... I mean, it makes sense that they wouldn't want her to have that baby, but still. There's only silence from King's Landing as well. Cat hoped Brienne and Sir Cleos would have made it to the city with the Kingslayer by now. Cat thinks Brienne might be on her way back with the girls now, but Sir Cleos promised to send a raven once the trade was made. But also, ravens don't always make it, so it sounds like she still has hope. Lol. Cat waits while others offer Robb their condolences. Lothar Frey approaches. He's known as Lame Lothar because his leg is twisted from birth. He serves as his father's steward. He is loath to intrude upon their grief, but asks if they may be granted an audience tonight. Robb says yes. It was never his wish to sow enmity between them. Queen Jane says it wasn't her wish to be the cause of it. Lothar Frey says that his father understands. He remembers what it's like to lose one's heart to beauty.
Oh.
But Cat doubts he said this, or that he ever lost his heart to beauty. Same. Waldar Frey has outlived 7 wives and is on his 8th, and he only speaks of them as bedwarmers and broodmares. Damn.
Yes.
Yep. When Lothar leaves, Robb asks to speak with Cat. She thinks that he has treated her kindly enough since returning to Riverrun, but seldom seeks her out. She can't blame him for being happier in the company of his young bride, though, as all Cat has to share with him is grief. Cat has also noticed that Robb seems to enjoy the company of his bride's brothers, Rollum, his squire, and Sir Reynold, his standard-bearer. And she thinks that Rollum has replaced Bran, and Reynold is part Theon and part Jon Snow. Which one was the one that Grey Wind didn't like? Do you remember?
I think it was a older person.
Yeah.
An older man.
What
Maybe
was his
her
name?
father?
No, it wasn't her
No.
father. Her father's captured right now, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And I do not recall.
Because he
Might
like
have been an
promised
older brother.
he promised Cat that he would like get rid of her, right?
Get rid
Or
of who?
get rit of her. Get rid of him because
The wolf?
no. Grey Wind didn't like this guy, and so
Oh, yeah.
Cat was like, you have to get rid of him because Grey
Right.
Wind doesn't like him and I trust Grey Wind.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, fine, I'll find a reason to send him away, but we've never heard about what happened with him since then.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wait, what?
I wonder if it's happened. I
Let's
don't remember hearing about him since.
see. Right. I'm just trying to find... I found the chapter. Oh, it's Sir Rolf. Rolf. So he's not there. Whoever this guy is, Sir Rolf.
He's not there anymore?
Well, he's not Rollum or Reynold, who are the ones hanging out with Robb, so
God.
we don't actually know where he is, but he's not here. Anyway, yeah, so Rollum, it seems like, has replaced Bran, and Reynold is part Theon and part Jon Snow. But no one I noticed has replaced Rickon. Robb just forgot about him. Like me. Who's that kid again? Robb and Cat walk, and Robb says Lothar seems amiable, which is hopeful, because they need the Freys. But Cat says that doesn't mean they shall have them. Robb kind of slumps at this, and Cat recognizes how heavy the crown weighs on him. He wants to be a good king, and he's doing all he can, yet the blows keep falling. They recently heard of the battle at Duskendale. Lord Randall Tarley defeated Robert Glover and Sir Helmund Tallheart. Robb was in disbelief at the news. He doesn't understand why they would go to Duskendale, and he's stunned that a third of his foot was lost for that place. So, this I found a bit confusing, I guess. So, Duskendale is southeast of Harrenhal and northeast of King's Landing. It's also on Blackwater Bay. But what I don't understand is, did Robb's own men go to fight for Duskendale without Robb's permission? Like, why wasn't he aware of this before it happened?
What?
Right?
Are they off, like, doing their own shit? Like how,
Like
The
barracks?
Lannisters send their groups out. They're like, just like, go torment people, and they go and do their own shit.
That's what I don't understand. Well, shouldn't there at least be like a plan? Like, oh, once you're done with this place, like we should try for this place and blah 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 and
Mhm.
like why would you just let them run around on their
Right?
own? Like would they not send a raven to like ask for instructions?
Yeah,
That just
I'm
seems so
kind of
weird.
surprised looking at this map. They're really far away from River Run.
At Duskendale?
Yeah, it's like the complete opposite side.
Mm-hmm.
Why are
So
they over there? What's over there?
I don't know. Maybe I misunderstood something, but to me it sounded like Rob like didn't even know that they were there.
Unusual.
Let me try and find the because I was very confused. Like what the what? What? When he heard about how Lord Randall Tarley had shattered Robert Glover and Sir Helman Tallheart, he stared in dumb disbelief and said, Duskendale on the narrow sea? Why would they go to Duskendale? A third of my foot lost for Duskendale?
Oh,
So
who was leading that group again?
it was Robert Glover and Sir Helman Tallheart.
How?
I don't even like who?
Just as confused as Rob. Why are you guys over there? What's
Yeah,
going
like the fuck? All right, I don't think we're gonna solve this one to be
on?
honest.
No.
Okay. So, Robert Glover survived the battle, but was captured by the Lannisters. Rob's plan is to exchange Martin Lannister for Robert Glover. Tywin will have to accept for his brother's sake. Martin is Sir Kevin's son, a twin to the Willem that Lord Karstark murdered. The guard around Martin tripled after that incident, just fun facts. Rob regrets not trading the Kingslayer for Sansa when Cat first urged it. If he offered to wed her to the Knight of Flowers, the Tyrells might be theirs instead of Joffrey's. Cat tells him his mind was on his battles, and he can't be expected to think of everything. Rob says he's won every battle, and yet he's still somehow losing the war. The Iron Men hold Winterfell and Moat Cailin. His father's dead, Bran, Rickon, maybe Arya, and now Lord Hoster too. Cat can't let him spiral, so she says her father has been dying for a long time. She admits Rob has made mistakes, but what king hasn't? Ned would have been proud of him. Rob tells her, then, that there's something she must know about Sansa. Cat is immediately like, oh my god, she's dead. But Rob says she isn't. They married her to Tyrion Lannister. And then Cat is like, oh my god, I wish she was dead.
Nice.
Thanks for the delayed giggle on that.
Oh, was it delayed?
Oh yeah. That was a pity giggle if I ever heard one. No, Cat is not wishing she was dead. That was a joke. Cat is stunned. She says Tyrion swore to trade her for his brother. Sansa and Arya both. Rob says oath-breaking is the Lannister way. He thinks the only possible way to free Sansa is to take off Tyrion's head. Cat says she should have let Lysa push him out her moon door, and she asks why anyone would do this to Sansa. Rob says for Winterfell. With Bran and Rickon dead, Sansa is his heir. If anything should happen to him, Winterfell is hers. Cat clings to Rob desperately and says nothing can happen to him. She couldn't stand it. She would go mad. She then suggests bending the knee. What the fuck?
She doesn't want to lose her boy.
Yeah, she's just a desperate mom at this point. Like, damn. Rob says never. Cat tries to argue that he wouldn't be the first Stark to do it, but Rob counters that those Starks' fathers weren't killed by whom they bent the knee to, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cat continues trying to argue, but Rob becomes cold. He asks if that's why she freed Jaime Lannister, to make peace with the Lannisters. She says she did it for Sansa and Arya, but she may have had some hope of buying peace as well. Robb reminds her that the Lannisters killed his father, and Cat asks if he thinks she's forgotten that, and Robb says, I don't know, have you? Which is kind of like childish Robb coming
Harsh.
through. Yes, very harsh. Cat has never struck her child in anger before, but she almost strikes Robb then. She tells Robb that he's the king, the choice is his. She only asks that he think on it. She then asks to leave, and Robb lets her go. Later, she's summoned to supper. Robb is cool, Edmure surly, Lame Lothar is warm and chatty, and Walder Rivers is sour and quiet. After the meal is eaten and the Westerlings excuse themselves, that's Jane's family, for those who've forgotten, Lothar speaks. He says before they talk business, he has news from his father's grandsons in Winterfell. Cat almost forgot about Walder and Walder Frey, her wards. I forgot about them, that's for sure.
Thing.
Are those motherfuckers still alive?
I would be surprised.
Well, according to these guys, they are. Lothar says they are presently at the Dreadfort. Winterfell is burned. Robb is like, huh?
Oh no.
Lothar says Robb's northern lords tried to take it from the Iron Men. When Theon saw his prize was lost, he torched the castle. Sir Brynden is like, we haven't heard anything. Lothar says his nephews are young, but they were there. It was a bloody business. Apparently Sir Roderick was slain. Cat is numb and asks who else. Lothar says many others, and Robb, punches the table because he's so angry. Lothar says the women and children hid, Walder and Walder among them. They were brought to the Dreadfort by this bastard son of Lord Bolton's. Robb asks if Roose has another bastard other than Ramsay Snow, because he was told Ramsay died a coward in a field. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Lothar Lothar says he can't speak to that, but wars bring about many false reports. All he can tell Robb is that his nephews claim it was this bastard son of Bolton who saved them. They are safe at the Dreadfort now. Robb asks what happened to Theon. Lothar says his nephews made no mention of Theon's fate. Perhaps Lord Bolton would know, if he has had word from his son. So, what do you make of this information?
I wonder if, unlike in the show, if they've left behind Winterfell and went back to the Dreadfort.
Is that what happened in the
show? In the show, they stayed in Winterfell. He was occupying Winterfell.
Yeah.
Ramsay. But sounds like they made it. They packed up and went back to the Dreadfort.
Well, this is the word of apparently these two Walders. But I don't know, this is all super sketchy.
Yeah. Also, they're dumb shit, so sketchy.
Yeah, why would they think to send a letter about this?
Yeah, it could very well be Ramsay.
That's what I was thinking.
Written these letters.
Maybe he wrote it, or he made them write it, if they're still alive.
Yeah.
I don't even remember where we actually left off the Walders.
I have no idea either.
Or, the Freys also could be making it up. But that seems less likely.
Didn't one of them get, seriously injured?
One of the Walders or one of the Freys?
The Walder boys.
Or
am I just imagining things? You know what? I don't remember.
I don't remember a Walder getting seriously injured.
I cannot say for sure. I do not remember. It's been too long.
It has. And
even longer still.
Why wouldn't word have come to Riverrun about this?
Yeah, that's very unusual. How long ago did this happen? And they did not know.
Yeah, and if Ramsay is supposedly saving these people who are in Winterfell, why would he not have reported to Robb? Right?
Or at least why wouldn't Lord Bolton have not reported to Rob.
Exactly. So there's a lot of weirdness happening around here.
Pretty sus.
Very sus. After they take a moment, Edmure asks if Lothar has an answer to their offer. Lothar says his father agrees to the new marriage alliance upon the condition that the King's Grace apologize in person for the insult done to House Frey. Oh god. Oh no.
He wants them to come in person.
He wants the king, Rob, to come in person and apologize. Oh, fuck.
Ooh, is that in this book?
Oh my god, I think we might be getting to it. I'm so scared.
Exciting.
Oh, fuck. I think it's gonna happen in this book.
I think
because
so too.
Arya is now with Beric, who wants to
Sell her to Run.
We kind of get to that in the last one, right? He wants to sell her to Riverrun, so he would be taking her to Rob.
Yep.
And that's where in the show, you know, she like arrives and sees stuff. Oh god, my stomach hurts. So Kat thinks that it's a small price to pay, but she doesn't like this petty condition. She has good instincts.
Yeah.
Rob is cautious, but tells Lothar he's pleased and would have the Freys at his side once more. Lothar says his Lord Father offers Lord Tully the hand of Lothar's sister, Lady Roslyn, a maid of 16 years. Edmure wants to meet her first, but Walder Rivers pipes up, finally, saying they'll meet when they're wed. Edmure wants to see her first, but Walder Rivers says he must accept her now or the offer is withdrawn. Lothar says it's his father's wish that this wedding take place at once. Brynden is like, we're kind of busy here fighting a war. But Lothar argues that men die in war, which is why his father insists it take place immediately. What should happen if Edmure were to fall before the alliance can be solidified? Also, his father is past 90 and wants to see his dear Roslyn wed before he passes. That sounds like bullshit. Kat is becoming less and less comfortable with this arrangement. Me too. Red flags and sirens everywhere.
Yep.
Rob asks the Freys to excuse them, so Lothar and Walder leave. Edmure is seething. He wants to be able to choose his bride, and is insulted that Walder Frey seems to be saying his promise is worthless. I mean...
Well...
yeah. Well... you can't really blame him for that after what happened with Rob.
Mm-hmm.
And even the men die in war reasoning makes sense.
Yep.
So Edmure says his answer is no.
Too prideful.
Yep. And he wants a hot babe. He doesn't want some gnarly ass hag. Rob gives him a wary look and says he won't command him, but if he refuses, then any hope of making it right with the Freys will be gone. Edmure tries to argue that Walder Frey has wanted him for one of his daughters since he was born, and he will not let this chance slip through his fingers. Walder, that is.
Okay.
Edmure says Walder Frey will agree to this counteroffer of a daughter of Edmure's choosing. But Brynden says they would have to wait for Lothar to ride back and forth with offers and counters. Rob is like, I gotta get back to the north. He can't sit here waiting for a wedding that might or might not happen. Kat says it must happen. Rob's cause is lost without this wedding. Edmure points out that Kat isn't having to sacrifice anything. The Blackfish reminds Edmure that he did promise to make amends for his Battle of the Fords. Edmure had a different sort of amends in mind, like single combat with the Kingslayer, or 7 years of penance as a begging brother, or swimming the Sunset Sea with his legs tied.
I just find it flippin' hilarious that he thinks that he could take on Jaime Lannister.
I think he's joking.
Okay, but like he just shows such ridiculous things.
Yeah, I think
instead
that's
of getting married. Okay, I get the joke.
Yeah. But when he sees no one is smiling, that's when he throws up his hands and he's like, "Fine, I'll wed the wench as amends." So yeah, it's definitely he was making a joke because it's only when he sees no one is smiling that he's like, "Fine, I'll do it." But yeah, that's the end of that chapter.
Wow.
So, how much do you want to bet they're going to be either heading to the twins or arriving at the twins in the next chapter?
Oh my gosh, they're going to be. Yep.
Oh,
for sure.
My God.
Wow, some shit is gonna go down.
Literally, all the hackles on the back of my neck just like rose up. All the hairs.
Yeah.
I don't like this at all. Oh God.
I'm pretty excited to see how it happens in the book compared to the show.
Same. I'm like, yeah, it's like looking forward to it, but also dreading it with all of my heart. God. I doubt there's anyone listening to this who hasn't seen the show and doesn't know what we're talking about, but if there is, they're like, the fuck are you talking about?
Something terrible is gonna happen.
Yeah, they're like, oh no, what is it?
I think it'd be pretty easy to guess. We're like, oh no, don't go, Rap, don't go. It's like, uh-oh.
Yeah, but it's also like just the sheer scale of what happens is like beyond what anyone would guess.
Right.
Like,
no one saw it coming in the show.
Oh God. I mean, except the people who had read it.
Yeah, exactly.
But
when it first aired, it was a massive slap to the face.
It became, do you remember it became a thing where people were like videotaping, what the fuck generation
recording.
They were recording people's reactions to the wedding.
Didn't you record Mom?
Did I?
I think you did. But at this time she was unfazed because Ned's death, I think, was the most shocking to her. And after that she was like unfazed by main characters dying off in Game of Thrones.
Okay, spoilers. I don't remember recording her reaction to the Red Wedding, but I definitely recorded something from the 8th season, I think.
Oh, you recorded...
Because I watched it a second time with her, and there was something I recorded.
Was it the bells or something? The episode 5?
I honestly don't remember.
So I remember you saying something about Mom rejecting an episode.
Oh. It might have been that one, the bells. Maybe. Alright, so that's chapter 35. That is Catelyn. We're dreading what comes next, and it's all getting real set up, and I do not like it. Alright. So, chapter 36 is Davos. Oh, hello. Davos. This one is pretty much just as long, if not longer, as that one. Yeah. Sir Axel Florent and 4 guardsmen arrive at Davos and Alistair's cell. At first, Lord Alistair thinks they've come for him, but they've actually come for Davos. They let Davos out of the cell, and he thinks it's Melisandre they're taking him to. He thinks he's gonna get burned. Burned at the stake.
Time to die.
But to his surprise, it's actually the king who's calling for him, though the Red Woman will be there. She's always next to him. Davos imagines wrapping his fingers around Melisandre's throat as he is led up and out of the dungeon. He is brought onto a bridge that connects to the stone drum, the massive central tower of Dragonstone. Halfway across the bridge, Sir Axel stops and gestures the other guardsmen away, then tells Davos that if it were his choice, he would burn Davos with Alistair. They're both traitors. And damn, Axel's fucking cold-hearted motherfucker.
Damn, is that like what gave him the right to straight up say that to him? What a terrible person.
Also, Alistair's his brother.
Oh my god, even worse.
He's like, I would just burn you at the stake with Alistair. Like, whoa, dude.
Yeah, chill.
Holy fuck. Davos says he would never betray King Stannis, but Axel says he would and he will. He has seen it in the flames.
Hmm. Okay.
R'hllor has blessed him with the gift, like Lady Melisandre. Okay, dude.
Sure.
Stannis will sit the Iron Throne, and Axel must be made his hand in place of his traitor brother. Okay, so now we know you're fucking lying through your teeth. Stannis will sit the Iron Throne. Haha.
Sure.
And Axel tells Davos that he will tell Stannis that Axel should be hanged.
Okay.
Okay. It's like what Davos is thinking. Alright. Sir Axel says that he and Davos's pirate friend San have made a plan together, but his grace doesn't act. The defeat has broken him, and it's up to them to show him the way. Axel says if Davos is as devoted to Stannis' cause as he claims, he will join his voice to theirs and tell Stannis that Axel is the hand he needs. Then, Axel shall see that Davos has a new ship.
Huh, he's trying to bribe Davos.
Yeah. But just you wait. Sir Axel then threatens Davos.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, very classy. He says if Davos betrays him, Axel may not be able to burn him without the king's consent, but Davos might get into an accident. Davos thinks it's ironic that Axel is calling him the traitor.
Who does he think he is?
Right?
To go around, like, trying to punish people.
Like, if he actually was loyal to R'hllor, he would basically be, like, kissing Stannis' feet.
Yeah.
Right? Not trying to manipulate the king.
No.
So I feel like Axel is just using his quote-unquote faith as an excuse to get what he wants. Which,
yeah. He sounds like a narcissist to me that he's making up.
Yeah.
What is that grandiosity that he apparently seems to believe?
Yeah. It's just a whole lot of bullshit, and he's hiding behind this wall of religion. Which
wow,
sounds familiar. So
a lot of people do that. It's a common thing.
Oh yeah. Davos, again, he thinks it's ironic that Axel is calling him the traitor, but Davos says anyway that he understands. He just doesn't want to get into it here on the bridge. So
here, let me involve Stannis.
So they head into the stone drum, into the great round room called the Chamber of the Painted Table, and they greet Stannis, who stands by the wood table carved in the shape of Westeros. Davos notices that Stannis looks 10 years older than when they set sail for the Blackwater battle. Stannis kinda sorta smiles when he sees Davos, and tells him he's in need of good counsel. He then asks Davos what the penalty is for treason, which makes Davos hesitate. He wonders if he's being asked to condemn his cellmate or himself. So, Davos is just like, treason? And Stannis says, what else would you call denying your king and seeking to steal his rightful throne? So Davos is like, oh, okay, he's not talking about me. So Davos says the penalty is death. Stannis agrees. He says he's not a cruel man, but that's the law. That's the way it's always been. That's just the way of things.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Davos agrees. He feels for his cellmate, though, and says that Lord Florent meant no treason. Stannis asks if smugglers have another name for it. Stannis made Alistair hand, and he would have sold his rights and married Shireen to a bastard born of incest. Stannis reflects that his own brother Robert had a gift for inspiring loyalty, but it seems that he only inspires betrayal, even in his own blood and kin. I like that Stannis can, like, self-reflect that way, at least. He's
a smart man.
Yeah, he doesn't, like, try to pretend that he is Robert. He's like, I am who I am, and, like, people loved Robert, and they don't like me, but...
I can respect that.
Yeah, he's like, it is what it is.
Yep.
Sir Axel begs the king to give him the chance to prove not all Florents are so feeble. Stannis tells Davos that Sir Axel wants him to resume the war. The Lannisters think he is defeated, and his own sworn lords have forsaken him and bent the knee to Joffrey. The few loyal men he has left are losing heart. Sir Axel says battle will bring them to life once more. Victory is the cure.
Okay.
Stannis seems unconvinced. Stannis is also like, okay.
Like, why is this guy sharing his opinion with me?
Why are you here?
Who is this?
What's your name? He tells Axel to tell his plan to Sir Davos. Axel's plan that he came up with Salladhor Saan. Because Stannis wants to hear Davos' views on it. Sir Axel is clearly unhappy about this, but he tells Davos anyway. So this is Sir Axel's plan with Salladhor Saan. So he wants to take Claw Isle, the seat of House Celtigar, which is a few hours' sail from Dragonstone. Lord Ardrian Celtigar fought with Stannis on the Blackwater, but quickly bent the knee once they lost. He is in King's Landing now, leaving Claw Isle lightly garrisoned. Sir Axel wants to put his castle to the torch and his people to the sword, so the realm might see the fate of those who bed with Lannisters.
Holy.
Yeah, and we'll get into the ramifications of that in a second, but I just wanted to point out real quick, that George has been using this term here and there, and it makes me slightly uncomfortable because I don't know how to say it.
What?
So I'm not going to say it because if I do, it's treacherous. So it's spelled Niggard.
Oh.
So I don't know what it means.
I've definitely heard it before. I've heard it said before.
In real life?
That is a word. I don't know if it was in real life. Maybe it was in a show that's old.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna...
It means not generous, stingy.
Oh, okay. Let me press the pronunciation. So this is not me speaking. This is going to be the computer's pronunciation of this word. Oh, that sounds as bad as you...
Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds as bad as you think it would.
No longer a word.
Yeah. Yikes, dude.
Whoa, that is an old word.
Yeah.
I can't see anyone saying that.
Hell no.
Wait, I remember where I heard it. It was on I don't know what country it was, but it was making its rounds on Reddit of some parliament guy using that word to describe and getting like a ton of hate for saying it. He was describing, I think, billionaires.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, that is... Dude, that is treacherous. Can you imagine being like the person who reads this book aloud for like audiobooks? And you have to say that?
You just switch it to stingy.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not comfortable saying this word, so
yeah.
I'm gonna say it's stingy.
There's even like a little note on the definition of the word that says it's archaic. Yeah.
Damn, you have to add that in like a...
So this is like... Word. This is mid-16th century.
Don't be offended, please.
Yeah.
Don't call up our publishing company just to scream. Don't cancel us, please.
We didn't say anything. I'm probably still gonna bleep that out anyway. If you want the pronunciation, you pretty much know exactly how it's said, or just go look it up yourself.
It's exactly how it's spelled.
It's exactly how you think it would sound. So, like, God.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess George is just being honest to, like, archaic language.
Yeah, definitely.
Which makes sense. But if I was him, I would not have the balls to use that word.
Right. I'll find another old word
Yeah. Let me
for
just
that.
say, I mean, I guess just because the word stingy is like so
I feel like
modern.
it is modern.
It's so modern. Let me look
Hmm.
up stingy. And like what else would you say? Ungenerous? Like that just sounds awkward.
Greedy? That
Mm,
sounds more like malicious. Greedy.
yeah. It's like it's similar and it could be a synonym, but I think in this case it's a slightly different context.
Hmm.
Yeah, stingy is a bit newer, mid 17th century. Not as modern as I thought, to be honest. Anyway, back to the story. So, Stannis says the risk is small for taking Claw Isle, and Sir Axel's plan could be done. By itself, Claw Isle is worthless, but its fall would serve notice to Lord Tywin that Stannis' cause is not yet done. Stannis turns to Davos and asks him to speak truly what he thinks of Sir Axel's proposal. So, Davos takes a second. He remembers Axel's threat, but this is his king asking. So he says, the plan is folly and cowardice.
Nice. I can
I
always
love
trust
it.
Davos to give it to Stannis straight.
Hell yeah, dude. Okay, so Sir Axel protests, but Stannis silences him and asks for Davos's reasons. I fucking love this.
Yup.
Davos says there are no enemies on Claw Isle, no Lannisters. Axel argues that there are traitors. Davos says Lord Celticar is an old, done man who wants no more than to end his days in his castle, drinking. Yet he came when Stannis called. He came with ships, he came with swords, and he stood by Stannis at Storm's End when Renly came down on them, and he sailed his ships up the Blackwater. His men fought and died for Stannis. Claw Isle is weakly held, yes, because it's held by women and old men. And why is that? Because their husbands and sons and fathers died on the Blackwater. Yet Sir Axel proposes taking the homes they left behind, raping their widows, and putting their children to the sword. These small folk are not traitors.
Thank you, Davos.
Good fucking point.
Yep.
Sir Axel insists they are traitors. Not all Celtigar's men were killed on the Blackwater. Hundreds were taken with their lord and bent the knee when he did. Davos is like, oh, fuck, yeah, they bent the knee when he did. They're his sworn men. What choice do they have?
Really different.
Yeah, like the hell? Sir Axel argues that every man has choices. They could have refused to kneel. There were some who did refuse to kneel, and they died for it. Yet they died true and loyal men. Davos realizes that's a good point. He says some men are stronger than others, but he realizes he's losing this argument. Stannis despises weakness, so Davos's point is not going to convince Stannis. Stannis speaks up, saying that it's every man's duty to remain loyal to his king, even if his lord proves false. But then Davos suddenly snaps and points out that Stannis didn't remain loyal to King Aerys when Robert raised his banners. Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Damn!
Mm-hmm.
Davos has fucking balls!
Got him!
Got him! Got him! There is shocked silence before Sir Axel screams, treason! And he snatches his dagger. Stannis is... I almost said Stanos again. What is with me in saying Stanos?
Yeah. Who is this Stannis?
Who is this Stanos character? Stannis is clearly pissed by this, but he tells Axel to put away his knife and get out.
Oh, God.
And he's like, send me Melisandre. So Sir Axel obeys and he leaves. Stannis tells Davos he could shorten his tongue as well as his fingers. And Davos tells him it's his tongue to do with as he pleases.
If that is what you wish.
If that is what you wish. Stannis admits he would have it speak the truth, even if it's a bitter truth. And then he admits it was hard to choose between Aerys and his brother. And then he starts talking about the Iron Throne and how uncomfortable it looks. He's like saying apparently Aerys cut himself on it so often that men took to calling him King Scab. Some say Maegor the Cruel was murdered in the chair, by the chair. And Stannis often wonders why his brothers wanted it so desperately. Davos then asks why Stannis wants it. And Stannis said it's not a question of wanting, it's his rights. That's the law, that's the way of things. So, he's definitely a stickler for the rules, and he's like that one person who, like, it hurts his heart to break the rules type of thing. He's like, there's a way of things, and it must be followed.
Yeah.
I can be like that sometimes.
Same.
It actually makes me think of back when I worked at RW & Co. in the mall. It's a clothing store, retail. It was Christmas time, and I remember we had boxes for you to, like, put the clothing in and wrap and give as a gift. So it was like, the rule was 1 or 2 boxes per customer. I don't remember, because we had a limited amount, right? So let's say it was like 1 box per customer. There was, I remember this customer bought like 5 sweaters maybe, and she wanted 5 boxes. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, it's 1 box per customer. And she was like, but I'm buying 5 things. And I'm like, sorry, the rule is 1 box per customer. And she was like, well, what if I do 5 transactions then? And I was like, you're still the same customer. It's 1 box per customer. And I was just like, I was like, no, until it got to the point that she, like, asked for the manager. And I was like, all right. So I went and grabbed the manager, and the manager was immediately like, oh, yeah, don't worry about it. You can have 5 boxes. And I was like, fuck.
No, that's what I hate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but then after, I guess because it
then
escalated.
You're the bad guy.
It escalated so much, I guess. But I was still, like, all about the rules. I was like, I'm not gonna fucking break the rules for you because you're being a bitch. Like, that's kind of how I felt about it, right? Just because you're going to put up a big enough fuss, you think I'm going to break the rules? She even threatened to go buy her stuff somewhere else. And I was like, okay, thanks for visiting. And I took her clothes and, like, put them in the go-back bin. And that's when she, like, asked for the manager. But yeah.
I hated it, Triple O's, when they did that. They'd give us rules and be like, this is what we're doing now. Don't let anyone. And then when you're, like, try to stand up for these rules, anyone who didn't like the rule, they would bend the rules and give it to them. And I hated that. I'm like, what's the point of these fucking rules?
Yeah, it's
if
like,
you're just gonna freaking just cave.
Yeah. For me, there's no in between. It's either order or it's chaos. There's no in between.
Yeah. And like, I don't like being seen as the jerk. And like, you get all haughty, like, ha, I told you. And like, my manager is the jerk.
Yeah.
Gosh darn.
My manager came to me afterwards, and she wasn't, like, upset with me, but she was like, it's just not worth fighting if it gets to that point, is what she was trying to tell me. But in my head, I was like,
Be like, so
she was a cunt.
Give it like, to any character, any customer who comes in and puts a fight, I just say yeah.
Yeah, if they want to return something that's, like, ancient and they've worn it 100 times and it's been through the wash 10 times, like, I can still take that back if they put up a big enough fuss.
That's when you have to give them hints, like, I can't do it, but if you put up a fuss, I can. Well, yeah.
Right?
So, here I am helping the customer.
Right?
Turn to a Karen, like, manager will let you.
Honest, from a business perspective, like, this woman was making a scene, like, other people were, like, looking, and it really doesn't cost the company anything to, like, give these extra boxes. It just means we're gonna run out, like, 5 customers faster, right? But yeah. So I understand that, but it's just, like, deep inside me, there's, like, this really stubborn person who's just like, no, I am not gonna give in to you because you're an asshole.
Right? It's not a moral thing that it's a asshole. Like, you don't talk to me like that. I'm not gonna reward your behavior.
And yeah, you're so right. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna reward you for being a dick. And she even said at one point, like, I'll go somewhere else and I'll buy stuff elsewhere then. Like, you've just lost a customer. And I was like, fine. I was literally like, I don't give a shit.
I just work here.
I was like, please.
$10 an hour.
Please leave.
I don't care.
And I called her on her bullshit. And I was like, okay, bye. And like put her clothes to the side. The ones that she was gonna buy. And that's, like she was so stunned when I did that. And it felt so good to like see that look on her face.
Like, what? She doesn't care?
She doesn't care about my business?
But I pay her bills. I pay her bills.
Right. But yeah. Anyway, that's where I relate to Stannis on this thing.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not just gonna give up the throne to Renly, even though I think, like, Renly would be a better king, and I don't want the throne, and Renly does want the throne. Like, I'm still not gonna give it up to him, because that's the rules! So I get it from that perspective. Anyway. That was a little aside. Stannis says he intends to scrub the royal court clean, starting with Cersei and her abominations. Does he plan on killing the kids?
Yep.
Holy dude. This man is heartless.
Yeah.
And then Stannis asks why Davos wished to murder Lady Melisandre. Davos says 4 of his sons burned on the Blackwater, and that was her doing. Stannis says those fires were not her doing. She remains Stannis' loyal servant. Davos says she killed Maester Creston and Sir Courtenay Penrose and Renly. Stannis says she saw Renly's end in the flames, but she had no more part in it than he did. She would have spared Renly if possible. It was actually her who urged him to meet with him, and it was her who told him to send for Davos when Sir Axel wished to give him to R'hllor. Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Melisandre. Oh, damn. Stannis then brings up that Robert's bastard is sick. The boy knows he is a king's son, but chooses to forget he is bastard-born. And he worships Robert, who would play the fond father when he visited, giving gifts and such. But in reality, the gifts were all chosen by Varys. And Renly was no better. He left the boy's upbringing to castellans and maesters. Stannis is angered that anyone would think he wanted to hurt the boy. He chose blood over honor that fateful day after all, when he chose to fight for Robert instead of Aerys. Davos realizes that Stannis never actually uses Edric Storm's name, which makes him uneasy. He says he wishes a swift recovery for him, but Stannis is like, it's just a chill, he'll be fine. Pretty weird.
Yeah, it is. It's depersonalization.
Yeah.
Depersonalization.
Yeah.
I think the word.
Something like that. Stannis says Melisandre says there's power in King's blood. What?
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 That's pretty sus. Sony just said he means no harm.
Yeah, he's like, why would anyone ever think I want to hurt the boy? By the way, Melisandre says there's power in King's blood. Did you know that? So Stannis gestures to the painted table and says it was meant to be one kingdom for one king to rule. Stannis says he will bring justice to Westeros, a thing Sir Axel understands as little as he does war. Claw Isle will gain him nothing, and it's evil. So Stannis is agreeing with Davos.
Nice.
Celtigar must pay for his treason himself. When Stannis comes into his throne, every man will reap what he has sown. And then he tells Davos to kneel. He says he made Davos a knight for onions and fish, and for this, he is of a mind to raise him to lord. Davos is like, what? He's like, I'm happy to be a knight. I mean, I don't know how to be lordly. But Stannis says that's a good thing, and he instructs Davos to kneel again. So Davos kneels, and Stannis draws his sword, Lightbringer. Davos notices the steel has a glow to it, and the air shimmers around it. But when it touches Davos' shoulder, it feels no different than any other sword.
Oh.
Very interesting. So is this, like, magic, or does this, like, have something to do with, like, the
Sounds
way...
like magic.
Right?
If it's like glowing and, like, blurry. I wonder what Melisandre did. Maybe it's a glamour like she is.
Oh, spoilers! I mean, maybe that is, like, the sword that's meant to be used by, what does she think Stannis is again?
Azor Ahai?
Azor Ahai. So maybe it is the actual sword that's meant to be used by him, but it's just not being wielded by the right person. So it can't be, like, activated or whatever.
Oh.
So, the king asks if Davos is his true and honest liegeman, and Davos says he is. Stannis asks if he swears to serve him loyally. Davos says he does. Stannis tells him to rise as Lord of the Rainwood, Admiral of the Narrow Sea, and Hand of the King. Bruh!
Wow.
Bruh!
Damn. Just rose the ranks, completely took asshole's job.
Not too far from his real name, Axel.
Yeah, man. I was gonna call him Alistair. I'm like, no, that's the guy in jail.
Yeah, so Davos is stunned. Fair enough. Literally, like, 10 minutes ago, he was in a jail cell. Now he's Hand of the King. He says he isn't fit to be Hand, but Stannis says no one is fitter, and he pulls Davos to his feet. Davos is like, I'm lowborn. None of your lords will obey me. Stannis. I'm just gonna call him Stannis.
His name is Stannis now.
I dub thee Stannis. Stannis says they will make new lords then, if his lords will not obey Davos. Davos says he can't read or write, and Stannis says Maester Pylos will read for him. As for writing, his last hand wrote the head off his shoulders, so Stannis is totally fine with... I can't with Stannis! So Stannis is totally fine with Davos not being able to write. He's like, I'm glad you can't write.
Or read.
Yeah. All Stannis asks is the thing Davos has always given him. Honesty, loyalty, and service. I guess that's things, not thing. Good job, Raven. Davos says there must be someone better, but Stannis says he trusts no one the way he trusts Davos.
Aww.
It is Davos he wants beside him in battle. Aww.
Cute.
It is kind of cute. I like when he's like, none of your lords will obey me, and Stannis is like, I'll make new lords. I like that part.
Yeah.
Davos thinks another battle will be the end of them, and he tells Stannis so. Then Melisandre arrives. She says these little wars are but the scuffles of children before what is to come. The one whose name cannot be spoken is growing stronger. Soon comes the cold and the night that never ends, unless true men whose hearts are fire find the courage to fight it.
Oh my god.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Let's do that song.
Yeah. Oh shit.
I was hearing
oh
sirens.
shit. She places a silver dish on the painted table. Ooh, what is this? Stannis says he had seen it in the flames too, and Davos knows it's not like him to lie about such a thing. Stannis says he saw snow falling and shapes moving through it, and he felt a terrible cold. Davos doesn't understand these images, but Melisandre says it means the battle is begun. They must act boldly or all hope is lost. Westeros must unite beneath her one true king, the Lord of Dragonstone and the Chosen of R'hllor. Stannis says R'hllor chooses queerly, and wonders why he didn't choose either of his brothers. And he says that if Renly had worked with him, they would have smashed Lord Tywin. Robert would have been proud of them. He was the best at fighting, Robert. Stannis says he never bested him at anything. The Lord of Light should have made Robert his champion. Why Stannis? Melisandre says it's because he's righteous. Okay. More like boring. Stannis prods at the silver platter and says he's a righteous man with leeches. Melisandre reminds him this isn't the way. Stannis is like, you said it would work, and Mel is like, it will and it won't. The boy is the surer way. With the boy, I can wake the stone dragon. Huh? Huh?
The what?
The stone dragon.
Come again?
You don't know the stone dragon? I can wake the stone dragon.
Melisandre? Say what?
It's literally like, what's the little dragon from Mulan?
It's gotta ring the
Mushu!
gong a few times.
Yeah, he just rings the gong. It's Mushu. Mel is like, he's just one base-born boy. Bruh? Only a king's blood can wake the stone dragon. But Stannis is like, no, I will hear no more of it. The dragons are gone. The Targaryens tried to bring them back and made fools of themselves. So Mel's like, alright. She offers the platter to Stannis. He takes a leech from the platter.
Eats it.
What? What? He does not eat the leech. He holds it in his fingers. They're already like fat and filled with blood. So the first one he takes and he tosses it into the nearby brazier, the little burning fire thing. And it burns, and Stannis says, the usurper, Joffrey Baratheon. He then takes the second leech, tosses it into the fire, saying, the usurper, Balon Greyjoy. The third one he takes, tosses it into the fire, and he says, the usurper, Robb Stark.
Oh my god!
No fucking way!
Was it him? Did you do this, Stannis?
Chill. No spoilies.
God damn it!
But damn!
Wow.
Holy fuck. This is all his fault.
I wonder if all three are gonna happen in this book.
Ooh.
I'm curious.
Red wedding, purple wedding, all the wedding.
And then we have what's his name?
Balon?
The brother.
Oh.
What is that?
Greyjoy. Euron
Greyjoy.
Euron. We have not met Euron yet, right?
No. I think he should be coming soon.
Okay. TBH, I do not remember anything that goes down with Balon.
Apparently book him is far more sinister than movie Euron and movie show Euron.
Right. So, yeah, I don't remember what happens with Balon, but we probably shouldn't talk about it. It's all spoilies.
Yeah, spoilies.
It's all spoilies. Well, when we get to that point, we'll compare it to the show.
Oh, is there any chance you'd want to pause so I could run to the bathroom?
Sure, yeah. Do you have any updates? Just because we can just end it. We're already like at an hour and 17 minutes.
Did we finish the chapter? I thought we were still going.
No, that's the chapter. He curses Robb.
I don't have any updates this week.
Yeah.
You don't either?
Nah. I got nothing interesting. We already told some personal stories.
Just enjoy your chapters today. Don't need to hear about us.
Who cares about us? We only care about Catelyn and Davos, and next time Jaime. Definitely are not getting to Jaime in this episode because this is a very long episode.
Dang. It was just chapters.
Yep. All right.
Two fat boys.
Two fatty chapters. Or probably just me not summarizing enough. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. That's it. If you want more of the podcast, please follow us on Instagram. You can follow the podcast at TIGBAB Podcast, or you can follow us separately. My handle is crimby, Jess's is just.egan24. You can also find us on Facebook. Just search TIGBAB Podcast or Tea is Good, Books Are Better, and we should show up there. Also, please subscribe to our good friend Bahrami on YouTube. He's the one who made our jingle, which you heard at the start of this episode, and he's a really cool guy and makes dope stuff, so check him out. And you can also join our Patreon, patreon.com/teaisgoodbooksarebetter. We have a few different tea-themed tiers with fun rewards, such as behind-the-scenes content, outtakes, and mini-episodes in which we force our brother to watch Game of Thrones, which he hates. So you will be getting something in return for your contribution, and you'd also be helping us improve the podcast with better equipment, but we also just appreciate you listening. And please don't forget to share the podcast with your family and your friends. It is the best way for us to grow. And join us next time for that Jaime chapter that we did not get to in this one. We're also going to have... Who else are we going to have next time?
Jaime, I wrote it down too.
Tyrion,
Arya,
Tyrion, maybe Arya.
Most likely Tyrion and Jaime, maybe Arya.
Yes. So in Jaime's chapter, we're gonna find out what happens between him and Roose Bolton, and then in Tyrion's, what the hell happens in?
I don't freaking know.
Oh, you haven't read it. There's a visitor arrives at King's Landing. A big deal character who we have not yet met.
Well, I'm excited.
Hell yeah, dude.
I have to go to the bathroom.
Okay, we're gonna end it. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.